Right. So for the first question that I would like to address, it will be what preoperative anxiety and stress actually is. So, just as the phrase itself, it suggests, preoperative stress and anxiety is actually just the temporary feeling of tension, uneasiness, nervousness, and even fear before an individual go for an operation. And regardless of what type of surgery you're going for an operation itself can be considered a relatively major event in your life, and it will cause a lot of you to feel a wide range of emotions, especially in the few days leading up to the surgery itself. Right, so you would then be wondering whether is it very common for you to feel the stress and also to feel the anxiousness before the surgery, and whether you are the only one feeling this way. So the answer is definitely no, you're not the only one. In fact, one study that I've read online shows that feeling anxious and also feeling stressed before your surgery is actually very, very common, with almost 80% of patients that they surveyed feeling very stressed and anxious before the surgery itself. This then, leads us to the next question. So, what does preoperative anxiety and stress actually feels like, and also how does it actually affect us? So, just like any other stressful situations that you have in your day-to-day life, and in this case, the stressful situation is going for a surgery itself. So our body has this mechanism where it triggers this fight or flight response, and it produces hormones to try to protect you from this kind of danger. And so in this case, your body will actually react in all sorts of ways, and some of the things that you might feel will actually be having your heart beating really, really quickly. Some of you might feel short of breath. Another group of you might feel that it's very hard for you to fall asleep at night, or even have very poor quality sleep leading up to the surgery itself. Another group of you might feel nauseous, or even feel like vomiting. But just because one person feels a particular way doesn't mean that you have to feel the exact same way. Everyone just reacts to stress differently. So here are some of the reasons that I've listed. That I would say there are common sources for people to feel this preoperative anxiety and stress. All right. So the first one, we have some of you feeling very scared of needles. Another group of you might fear the risk of the operation, and also fear the anesthetic drugs being used, because some of you are afraid that after the general anesthesia is being given, you might not wake up from it. Another group of you might fear the post-operative pain. You're scared that there's going to be a lot of pain after the operation, or that there's going to be some sort of complications after the surgery. Another group of you might feel that because there's going to be some lifestyle changes after the surgery, and you're just not very sure how you can adjust to this kind of changes, and these are the things that might cause you to be worried. Okay, and some of you might have gone through some surgery in the past, and those surgeries you might not have a very pleasant experience, and this might cause you to feel more worried for your upcoming surgery, and you're worried that it's going to be equally unpleasant as well. For another group of you, it might be your first major surgery, and you're just unsure of what to expect in general. So, with all this information that we have, we just want to make sure that this fear and this anxiety don't become too overwhelming. In fact, because we want to try to work through this feeling before you go for your surgery, because if you don't manage these feelings, it might actually affect your post-operative outcomes. And some of the effects that you'll see include having poorer pain tolerance, longer recovery period, and even cause you to have a longer length of stay in the hospital. All right, so next, I'll be sharing some simple tips that can hopefully help you better manage this anxiety and stress before your surgery. All right, so the first tip I have would be to stay well informed. So, you can start off by learning more about your medical condition and also learning more about your operation. This also means you can find out what kind of post-operative lifestyle modifications that might actually take place. So by having more information and by being more informed about your operation, it can actually help you to gain a better understanding of what you'll be going through. And this can help you to manage your expectations. And so it can definitely help to relieve your stress and also your worries. But when we say that when we ask people to find out more information, they usually will go to the internet, they will Google their information. But actually, this is not wrong. But because everything online is not exactly accurate, it might actually end up scaring you and might cause you to have more worry. So I would suggest you actually get your information from your healthcare professionals, such as during your doctor's consultation, or even when you visit the pre-admission counseling and evaluation clinic. All right. Another one that I didn't add in the slides would be to go onto our Tan Tock Seng Health Library, our website. I think that's another great source of information that can help you find out more about the condition that you have. All right. So the next tip that I have will be to prepare early. And I think this goes very well hand in hand with what I shared earlier. After you find out more about your operation, about your condition, I think, and also, what sort of post-surgery arrangements that you might possibly need to make, I think it's very good that you start preparing early. So for example, if you know that you're going to be admitted after your operation, then you can definitely pack sufficient and you can pack light for your stay. If you know that you're going home right after your surgery, then you can plan with those who will be picking up from the surgery itself, like your family and your friends. For some of you, if you know that there's going to be some possible post-operative lifestyle changes, then how can you better cope with these changes? How can you better prepare early? Do you need any sort of training? Do you need any sort of home environment modification? So, as you gather this information and you start to make your post-surgery arrangements early, it definitely can help you to anticipate much better and also ease your stress before your surgery itself. Right. Then the next tip I have is to better understand your preoperative preparations. So, most of the time before your surgery, you receive a long checklist, lots of instructions for you to follow. And sometimes, even with these instructions and checklists, you don't necessarily understand what these instructions are for. So, by learning more about your preoperative preparations and also why you need to do certain things, it definitely helps to improve your surgical experience. It definitely help to improve the safety aspect of your surgery as well. And this will definitely help you to feel more confident before your surgery. So here I've listed down some preoperative preparations that you might come across before your surgery. So you will definitely receive some preoperative fasting instructions. So you will receive instructions to not consume food and drinks before your surgery after a certain timing. And it's very important that you stick to these instructions, because if you were to consume any food and drinks before your operation, it actually puts you at a risk of the food regurgitating out of your stomach, coming out of your stomach and then going down into your lungs. Let's say if general anesthesia is being given during operation. And when you consume the food and drinks before your operation, it might actually then cause a delay for your operation time. So you might also hear the nurses asking you to remove your dentures if you're wearing any. So having dentures on during your surgery might actually cause the dentures itself to be dislodged if a breathing tube is being inserted. And this might actually cause a blockage in your airways. And this is something that we definitely do not want during our surgery itself. So another one would be to know if you need to stop or continue certain medications that you're currently on right now. All right. So the next one would be to practice simple relaxation techniques. So here I've listed down two very simple techniques, one of it being deep breathing exercises. I'm sure you've heard of it many times, but if you're unsure of how to go about doing it, then you can actually refer to the image that I have on this slide. It teaches you the different steps to practice deep breathing exercises on your own. Some of you prefer to listen to calm music to help you relieve the stress. And these are just two out of many simple relaxation techniques that I've put up here, and that's actually available out there. I think there's many more out there. And I think what's most important is you find one that's you're most comfortable with, that's most suitable for you, and you use it to help you keep calm. Okay. So finally, the last tip that I have will be to maintain good health. So having good physical health before your operation definitely helps with your post-operative recovery. The first way is through having good nutrition. Having good nutrition definitely helps to improve your immunity, improves and speed up your wound healing process, reduces the risk of complications post-surgery, and also reduces your recovery time. And simple ways to have good nutrition, I'm sure you've heard it many times, will be to have a well-balanced diet across all your food groups, have adequate energy and protein. And for some of you, if you have a loss of appetite before your surgery and you're not able to eat your regular size meal, then I think having smaller and more frequent meals throughout the day will definitely help. All right, another one, when I say good health, I think stopping smoking and also stopping the alcohol consumption can definitely help. It can definitely, because smoking and alcohol consumption can definitely increase your risk of complications during and after your operation. So I think it's recommended that you stop the smoking and alcohol intake at least 2 weeks before your surgery. Another one would be to maintain an active lifestyle. So by maintaining an active lifestyle, it definitely helps your body recover faster from the stress of the surgery. And I know, not every one of us, we work out very often. So I think you can start off by just introducing very simple exercises into your daily routine, like doing a 30-minute walk around your neighborhood. All right, so for the final part of this sharing, I'll be sharing more during the surgery and also after the surgery itself. So after you've made the decision to go for the surgery, you will have an appointment with our pre-admission counseling and evaluation clinic, otherwise known as the PACE clinic, usually a week or so before your operation. And at the PACE clinic, you will receive the financial counseling for your hospitalization. They will brief you about the estimated cost and also the various payment options that you can make. And also you will do a pre-admission medical checkup to see whether, to make sure that you are fit enough for the operation. As for your reporting details and also your fasting instructions for your operation, you will actually only receive the call 1 day before your operation to let you know about these instructions and reporting details. All right, so on the actual day of your operation, before you enter the operating theatre, you will be brought to the reception area, and over there will be a nurse who will receive you and also conduct simple pre-operative checks for you. So they will usually ask you questions like when was your last meal and your last drink timing, whether you have any metal implants in your body, and whether you are wearing any dentures. In fact, you'll be actually asked these questions multiple times along the way before you have your surgery itself. And these are just some necessary safety checks that we take to ensure that you are ready for the operation. So after that, you'll be brought over to a small room or also the induction room that is right outside your operating theatre. And even though it's going to be really cold in there, but don't worry, because we'll give you some warming blankets to keep you comfortable. All right. So once your operation's over, you'll be brought out to the post-anesthesia care unit, the PACU, or also what we know as the recovery area. So at the recovery area, the main purpose there is actually to make sure that you are stable after your operation and that your pain is well managed before you go to the ward. So over there, you'll be placed on continuous monitoring, and you stay at least 30 minutes at PAKU before you're being brought over to the ward. And because you just finished your operation, sometimes if they were to use general anesthesia during your operation, you might feel a little drowsy, a little sleepy. Some of you might feel this uncomfortable feeling in your throat, some sort like a sore throat, I would say, because of the breathing tube that was put in place during the surgery. Some of you, you're worried about the pain you will feel after your operation. As much as I would like to say that there's going to be totally no pain, I feel that sometimes some pain can be expected. But of course, if your pain becomes not tolerable and becomes too much, then you can always let your nurses know, and they will provide you with the pain medications to manage your pain accordingly. And with this, I come to the end of my sharing, and I hope that through my short sharing with you today, you're able to learn more about how to better cope with the stress and anxiety that you might have before your surgery itself. Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sumin. So now we'll open up to the floor for any questions. So for those who have just joined us, at the bottom you'll see a Q&A button. You can press that to type in your questions, and our speaker will be able to see it on our side. I know earlier, Nan actually asked where they can search the information from Tan Tock Seng Hospital. So we'll provide a link for the health library, but at the end of this talk also, we will have a QR code for you to scan to access our health library. And then later on also, once you fill out a feedback form and give us your email, we will be able to share a copy of today's slides with you. Yeah. So we'll pause for maybe a minute or two for everyone to type in your own questions. If you have any questions for Sumin. Okay, maybe today's group a bit shy. But maybe you have any questions, let's say about your pre-operation process, your appointment at PAKU. Okay, thank you, Nan. I think we have a question from Nan, asking if there's any difference in preparation for patients going for local anesthetic or general anesthetic.
Okay, thanks for the question. Right. So, any difference in preparation for patients going for local and versus general anesthesia? Okay, so for those going for general anesthesia, usually that's where you receive the fasting instructions. Because during general anesthesia, you actually be kind of put in a very deep sleep. And so usually they will give you instructions mainly for your fasting instructions, and also of course the risk itself is different. So for those that are going under LA, sometimes they might not ask you to have the fasting instructions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sumin. So hope that answers your question, Nan. Any other questions from the ground? Maybe I'll pause here for one more minute. If there are no questions after that, I will go on to some general announcements. And then if, let's say along the way, if any questions, after you can feel free to drop us an email, then we can forward your questions to our speaker today. Yeah, so I'll open the floor for another one more minute. Okay, I think we have another question from Florence. Well, apologies, Florence, because you asked whether it's dangerous for operation on the right frontal bony lesion. For this case, I think we'll need your help to seek advice from the doctor, who will be able to advise accordingly. Yeah, because this might be out of our scope for our speaker today. Yeah, apologies on that. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from the ground? If not, we'll move on to our uh, our short announcement before we close today's talk. Okay, I think we have no further questions. Yeah, so before we close today's talk, along the way, if you do have any questions about today's topic, please feel free to email us at cha@ttsh.com.sg. We'll forward your questions to our speaker. And we really hope that you found today's session informative. So without further ado, this is just a quick announcement regarding today's talk. So please scan the QR code here or click the for.sg Health Talk link to submit your feedback, to let us know how we did today and how our speakers do today. And if there are any other areas or topics that might be of your interest. And then also, regarding Nan's question earlier also, on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you're able to see a TDSH Health Library QR code. So you can scan that to visit some of our past health talks, as well as access some of our health resources available. Yeah, and then just to inform everyone here also, I've heard that this year we have our Singapore Patient Conference that's happening. Pre-registration is now open, so you can just scan the QR code to our social media pages, be it Facebook or Instagram, to be kept updated on the latest information and also pre-register your interest with us. Yeah, so with that, we'll be ending today's health talk. So thank you so much. It's a bit shorter, yeah, but we hope we found today's session useful and had some key takeaways on what are some things you should do before, during, and after your operation. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Yeah, thank you. I'll leave the screen on for maybe about 2-3 more minutes so that you're able to see the QR code and access the feedback form. Thank you.